Tomorrow, you guys, we officially enter Cup final week. We have our upcoming game, 8 PM UK time against FC Porto. And then later on this week, we have a semi-final FA Cup game against Man City. This is the defining part of our season. We are in the period now where we're going to find out if come the end of the season, we're going to have happy faces and pick up some silverware. And against FC Porto tomorrow, we can't afford to slip up. We can't afford to act complacent. A part of me, my fan side, really feels like, okay, we are guaranteed to reach the semi-finals of the UCL, but in tournaments like this and knockout round games like this, you can never, ever be too confident. I learnt my lesson the hard way against West Brom just last week even, not even that long ago, you guys, so I'm not going to take no L's for the game tomorrow. With FC Porto, their form of course has been decent. Currently, they're fighting to win the Liga NOS title. Right now, Sporting Lisbon are still undefeated this season. And with FC Porto, we know that we have a difficult game against opponents that have strong chemistry, work very hard, and in the first leg showed and demonstrated their strengths and qualities against us. In this game tomorrow, even though we have the advantage, meaning that we could afford to lose the game, obviously if it's under 2 goals, however, we can't afford to be complacent like this. For me, it's not a time to just sit back, defend and get them on the counter-attack, because in games like this in the UCL, it's all about momentum, and whichever team has that momentum in the game has a strong advantage at getting the result they want. For us, we have to compete, we have to fight, and we have to go out to win the game, in my opinion. So you guys, in this match preview, I'm going to break down Tuchel's press conference, I'm going to go through the predicted lineups, and I'm going to end things by giving my match prediction right at the end. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoy, and if you want to interact in the video, one thing I really appreciate, not even asking you guys to subscribe, but just hit the like or dislike button. It really gives me a better understanding behind how you guys are, feeling the videos. So, why not help a brother out? And without wasting any more time, let's kick things off by going through Tuchel and his press conference. And now, you guys, we start things off with the press conference, and immediately Tuchel was asked how our approach for the game was going to be tomorrow and whether we may be a bit passive, of course, because we have a 2-0 lead. Now, as Tuchel rightly said, we aren't a team that ever approaches games from a passive perspective. Some of you guys might be thinking about the West Brom game, but we gotta just put that behind us now, you guys. Let's move on from that. Porto have the advantage because in that sense, all they can do is go out and attack to get themselves back into the game. Tuchel feels like it's easier for Porto to adapt to the game. However, we can't necessarily do the same thing, because if we do, this could be quite dangerous for us and our hopes of progressing. Tuchel ended things by saying that we won't change our approach for anyone, and that our approach this season has been successful, and we'll do our best in tomorrow's game to play our style of football. So that was the first question. Let's move on. Tuchel was then asked who our emotional leaders are in the team, and I think by that question it's basically saying, who are the players that you can rely upon in the big games who are going to be able to, help the team out, have the correct mentality as well to make sure the team aren't slipping, that they're all putting their shift in and, playing to the best of their abilities. And Tuchel said that you wouldn't get in a fight with either Rudiger, Azpilicueta or with Kvara. So, of course, for me, this implies that Tuchel relies upon their experience. He relies upon their leadership in their own ways, and these are guys that he can rely upon for the team right now. And of course, questions then turn towards N'Golo Kante, with Tuchel saying that he's very happy to have Kante back, especially that he was available for the first leg. However, for the game tomorrow, he doesn't know right now at this point in time whether he's going to start the game or come on later on. Now, I'm sure that Tuchel, of course, knows exactly what he's going to do, but of course, he's not going to bait himself out in a press conference, you guys. He's a bit too wise for that, but I don't know, in my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Kante starting that game. And now, to move on, we had Chilwell taking part in this press conference too, and let's hear what he had to say. Naturally, he was asked about our 2-0 advantage, saying that yes, the team understand that it is one, but at the same time, we can't allow standards to slip. It's only a job half done, but at the same time, we couldn't have wished for a better result. Now, talks then turn towards Ben and Marcos Alonso competing to win over Tuchel's affection. Now, Ben kept things absolutely real. He said that when the manager first came, this was a clean slate for every single player in the team. Naturally, he used this as an opportunity to push himself and work harder, and when he was out the team, he was constantly asking Tuchel what he could do to get better, to improve, and to win himself back in the team. As Ben said, after the first 3 or 4 games that Tuchel took over, he was constantly asking him what he could do to improve and get himself back in the team. Ben was asked whether Ashley Cole was a role model, with Ben saying of course he was one, and if he could have the same career, have that same legendary status that Cole could have, then he'd be a very happy guy. Ben was asked whether he has become a better player playing under Thomas Tuchel, with Ben saying that he doesn't feel like he's become better, however, he is still learning and getting to grasp with becoming a left wing back. Now, of course, I feel like, especially in the past few games, we're definitely seeing Ben, growing and growing more in that area. And I'm going to end things with the final one because there were so many questions asked. Has the mentality shifted ever since Thomas Tuchel arrived? But Ben saying that the mentality hasn't shifted. When you sign and play for a club like Chelsea, the ambition is to constantly win titles, trophies, silverware. That's the game. Maybe some of the older and experienced players might be playing more. However, whenever any player puts a shirt on, they're always putting their 100% effort in. So that was the press conference out of the way, you guys. We're now going to move on to the predicted lineup. Now, one thing to remember is the fact that both Kova and Ziyech are 1 yellow card away from being suspended. So if any of them play tomorrow and they pick up yellows, that means they're out of the first leg of the semi-final. However, if both players did play, picks up no yellow cards, all the suspensions get rescinded. You go through to the next rounds scot-free. So let's hope, fingers crossed, against a very physical FC Porto team. And it seems like we won't have to worry about Kova picking up yellow cards in tonight's game because he won't be taking any part due to picking up an injury in training in last night's sessions. So let's hope that it's not too severe because we have a big game coming against Man City and I feel like we're going to need him. And you could argue that there is frustration behind the fact that Gilmour was not made part of that 23-man shortlist. So let's hope that the midfield is strong, compact tomorrow. And without wasting any more time, let's start things with the first predicted lineup. And for the first lineup, I've gone for Kai Havertz up front, alongside them both Timo Werner and Mason Mount. In midfield, Kante, Jorginho, wingbacks Reece James and Ben. In defence, Rudiger, Silva, Azpilicueta, with Mendy in goal. Now, my thinking for this lineup is that after the very positive result in the last game, I feel like now is a great time to build some more attacking cohesion, some more relationships between the players in the system. I think that we've seen too many different attacking lineups, which I understand. We have a very deep and quality squad, which naturally you have to turn to, but I feel like we have to get the basics right. And we saw potential in that last game. I feel Kai Havertz has shown a lot of promise playing as a false 9/number 9 for Tuchel so far, and I'm hoping that he continues that against FC Porto to build more form and consistency, because my whole mindset is, you guys, the season's nearly over. We have some must-win games, we have some big opportunities to get some silverware come the end, and the best way to get silverware is if we can rely upon the guys to put in the performances. And I think the only way to do that is to play more consistent minutes together. Let's hope that we see Kai getting more goals coming in the season, and they're important goals that help us achieve our ambitions. So alongside, I've gone for Mason Mount because, I feel like, can this team really be without him? I'm not too sure, to be honest, you guys. I mean, the roles he fulfills, the way he plays, the intensity from the front. I think against Porto, you need to have that character and that strength in the team. And I've gone for Werner because, and it's basically only because he never played the last game. I'm guessing can Pulisic play so many games consecutively? I'm not too sure. I still feel like Tuchel wants to try and find a way for Werner to, get his form back, and maybe playing alongside Kai and Mason could help him towards finding some goals for us. And basically, as you guys can see, the rest of the lineup is quite self-explanatory. So that is the first one out of the way. And now for the second lineup, as you guys can see, I've gone for Kai Havertz again up front, alongside him Hakim Ziyech and Timo Werner. Wingbacks Alonso and Hudson-Odoi. In defence, I've gone for Silva, Rudiger, Azpilicueta and Mendy in goal. Now, my thinking behind this team is that we could see some of the players that haven't taken part recently featuring against FC Porto with Hakim Ziyech. Let's not forget that his form has been good. His form had been decent beforehand. He was getting more goals, finding more influence in the team. And when it comes to creating chances for Timo Werner, I think he's been the best out of any player this season at helping fashion those chances. So I think he'll provide that creative asset for us. Of course, up front, Kai Havertz maintaining his position up front to maintain that form. Timo Werner just returning back, I guess, for some potential counter-attacking threat. Let's see how he copes after we saw how Pulisic was so good in the last game. And for wing backs, I've gone for Alonso due to his physicality and additional goal threat as well. Alongside him, Hudson-Odoi, I like to see him combined with Hakim Z, stretch the game at times when he has to, but at the same time, I think this would be a definite gamble because FC Porto like to play down the flanks themselves, as we saw in the first leg. And again, this is just a second predicted lineup, but I'd be surprised, to be honest, if Hudson-Odoi did start the game tomorrow in a wing-back position. And of course, you guys, the defense, again, self-explanatory, and essentially there are the two different lineups for the game tomorrow. In the comments below, give your thoughts and opinions. What lineup do you want to see? What players are you hoping are going to be the ones to play a part in tomorrow's game? Let us know below. And to end things now with the match prediction, for me, I'm going to be going for a win. Now, honestly, I can't see us losing the game. I think based on the context of the game tomorrow, with FC Porto having to come out to attack, naturally they'll be leaving some space in behind, and I think we have the players at our disposal to take advantage of that space left. I honestly feel like we're not going to lose this game. It could be a draw, or it's going to be a win for us. But, at the same time, Porto are still good opponents. We did well in the first leg to get that advantage. That's really helped us a lot to really progress through, you guys. And then it seems like afterwards, we could be potentially playing against Real Madrid. Now, I know that a lot of us have been wanting to see this game for years and years and years. Never played against them, I don't think, since was it the 90s or back in the 70s? I can't remember the top of my head, you guys, but I think I'm getting a bit too carried away thinking about Real Madrid already. You guys, I'm going to wrap things up tomorrow. It's going to be the start of a big end to the season. Let's hope by the end of the season, we are coming out on top with some silverware. Let's go, you guys. But anyway, I'm in EFC. This is Blue Line CV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Peace.